Hi guys, I hope you're keeping well. Hope you had a good Christmas. I wish you a happy new year. And as you know, in my last couple of videos, there was a bit of a rant because I was getting very frustrated with not actually tying, I suppose it's Stirlingkit, and maybe tying for not fixing the problem with the broken crankshafts in the engine. Well, since then, tying have been on to me and Stirlingkit. Tying have been kind of good. Stirlingkit sometimes can be a bit funny, but we decided to bury the hatchet now and sort of try and start a new year to get on with Stirlingkit and Mona and Lucas at Engine DIY. Going to sort of try and start again. And this is kind of the story of what happened. Well, after my videos, obviously it stirred up a lot of sort of feelings between people. There's a lot of people who had the engines and they all broke crankshafts, and we weren't sort of happy that the modifications they suggested, like putting a grub screw on the front bearing and stuff like that, actually worked, and it was kind of not a really good idea. Well, since then they've actually modified the engine again by putting a bigger bearing in the front, on the front of the crankshaft. Now, I'm still not convinced that that's going to kind of sort the problem, but I've been assured there is. I mean, Dennis Dempsey is going down the road of putting thicker head gaskets in, which could be right, lower the compression ratio. I was sort of thinking of putting 2 head gaskets, on the engine, because they're a very strange material. They're like I should have brought one down. They're like a graphite sort of material, very thin, and they always get destroyed when you take the engine apart. And they're like 15 quid a go, £15. So I think Dennis is making them out of kind of ordinary gasket paper. And I think he said a couple of guys have been running them. If you're interested in this, I'm sure you've watched his videos, and they've not had a problem. But anyway, back to tying and over the Christmas period and just before it. Tying decided that they would send, they told Stirlingkit to send me a brand new engine, which I've still got it in the box. Here it is, it's all sealed up and I haven't used it. It's for the Swamp Dog, which I've got over to the left of me here. Now, I still don't know whether I should put it back in the Swamp Dog, or should I modify it, with a centre bearing. It's so much work. I've got to strip all the engine down to put a centre bearing. So, Dennis has said that there are a few guys running this engine as it is, with the bigger bearing and the head gasket, a thicker head gasket, and they've kind of not had any problems. So, it might be okay. But I didn't know whether to kind of sell the engine as it is, sealed in box, because I thought it couldn't be worth money. But the other half of me says, should I put it into my Swamp Dog, which is sitting there? Hang on, let's just move the camera up a little bit if I can. I mean, this would be a fantastic project. I mean, the once I had it running, it was like really good, apart from I couldn't get the gearbox to change, So I don't know whether to put the time engine back and give it another go, or I should sell it. I'm in two minds now what to do. I mean, what would you think if you've got a brand new engine there that is supposed to be reliable? It will go straight into my truck. I could probably fill it in about 20 minutes. But if it breaks again, I don't want to go down that road of having to put crankshafts in it and stuff like that. So I'm still waiting on guys. If there's any guys out there who've been running the new updated engine without a problem, can they get back to me? Because I would love to know. Dennis is kind of saying that it's okay with a thicker gasket, and guys have not had problem, but I've not actually heard it from anyone else. I know Dennis has got a few hours, I think, on one engine, and he's kind of putting 2 together to make like a V8. So I don't really know what's going on with Dennis. I actually, when I was having a rant in my last video, I mentioned that, like, me and Dennis Dempsey have done so much work for Toyon to promote their engines and vehicles, you know. I mean, I first saw Dennis Dempsey with a truck, and I thought it was fantastic with a little single cylinder overhead cam engine. So I built one of them, and it kind of snowballed from there. And there was a lot of guys kind of really getting into it. And then they brought out the L400, which I'm going to tell you about, which I've not had a lot of success with, but I think I might have sorted it now. And you know, it kind of was steamrolling along, and then it got to the L400, you know, the 4-stroke, and it looked fantastic, and you know, it sounded good. But then we got to the stage where it was breaking crankshafts, and we knew there was a problem with the engine. I think Stirlingkit knew, but I don't think they knew how far it was going to escalate. You know, everyone who had one had the crankshaft break. And kind of after telling us that, you know, we didn't put them together properly, this, that and the other, they had to admit that there was a problem with the engine. And, you know, it took like 6 months to sort of sort this problem out. And like I'm saying, I'm still not sure it's sorted out, you know. And that's why I'm sort of hesitant to put this L400 back into my truck. I'm just waiting for more feedback from guys. But I don't really know, you know, how many guys have got this engine. But like I said, if you run in the new modified engine, please get back to me, and I'd love to know, you know, how it's going. So with the advertising and my last video, Toyon decided to send me a new engine, and I put in a good word for Dennis, and they sent him a brand spanking new engine. So we both ended, you know, up with a new engine out of that. Plus, they gave me a refund. So, you know, I can't moan at them. They kind of sorted me out in the end, but it was hard work. But I'm hoping that this year, you know, like I said, we buried the hatchet, and we're going to get along okay. And I'm going to start doing my videos again and my build videos. So, like I say, I'm not sure to put it back in the Swamp Dog, you know, until I get someone who says to me, oh yeah, I've run that engine for like 3 hours non-stop and it's perfect and it's never missed a beat, then I will put that engine back in there. But anyway, back to this little L400. Now, I've had this some time now, and I had it in a Tamiya truck. I think you've seen it. It's on Stirlingkit's site, my video on it. And it all fitted in really nice. It looked really smart, you know. It looked really scale. And right from the start, I could never get it to run on 2 cylinders properly. I even tried. I made a manifold for a single carburetor and a slide carb on there, which is a lot better, you know. But it's still, you had to run 1 cylinder really lean and then the other one rich, so you had to keep like putting igniters on to keep it running, and I used to have to switch the igniters on, and it kind of would go, but it would always misfire, sort of high RPM. It had a terrible misfire, and I could never ever get it right. So a couple of weeks ago, I thought, oh, I'm going to dig this out and see if I can find out what's wrong with it. And I had the thing all apart, and it's always had a serious lack of compression. Toyon engines are a bit like that. You can never really feel like a good pop when you turn it over. But this was like nothing. You couldn't even find where compression was. But I don't know if you can see now, if you listen. Oh, my heater's just come on. It's got really good compression. I can feel the 2 cylinders coming up, and I think this is going to run perfectly. I've not had a chance to run it yet because the starter belt stripped, and I think Lucas at Engine DIY has sent them now. I've asked him if he sent them, but you know, I can't start it up. But I believe that I have sorted the problem. Now the problem with this engine is the compression. Now it's quite easy to get to. You can take the head off. And I got a copper gasket on there. It's quite thin again, but it means you can like take it up, put it back on, and you can reuse it. So there's not a problem there. Now, I took the head off, carburetor's off, blah blah, and I pressurised the cylinder head through the valves, and I had a little bit of like fuel in the top, and you could see it bubbling around one of the exhaust valves. So I thought, oh, that exhaust valve is leaking. So it's very tricky to get the valves out. I made a little valve compressor, and you pick the little collets out. I mean, I actually did flick one around the room, and would you believe it, I found it again. I mean, they are tiny. They must be about 2.5 mil, 3 mil round. I actually found it again, which I thought I'd never find that again. But anyway, I took the valve out and had a look at it, and everything looked fine, the seal and everything. And it's kind of awkward to lap these valves in, because there's not a lot of the valve sticking out of the top of the cylinder head for you to get anything on. So what I did was I got some quite small fuel tube, put it over the top of the valve so I could twist it back and forwards, and I put a little bit of, it wasn't grinding compound, it was like Solvo, like a metal polish, and I kept going round, and in the end I got it to seal. So I thought, oh, that's good. So I left some fluid in it overnight, and then when I come down the next day, it had gone. So I thought, it can't be going through that. You know, it had a good seal yesterday, but when I blew it, it was leaking again. So I couldn't work out what this was. And to me, when them valves come down, they're on like a bronze seat, and the actual seat itself it looked like it was leaking from around the seat where it goes into the block or the head. So when I looked at it, I put a dowel, a 6 mil dowel, into where the seat of the valve goes, and you could rock it around like it was oval. Now, it was a lot oval. It wasn't round, it was kind of oval. So I then spent kind of probably another 2 hours lapping that valve in until I could blow through it and there was no air bubbles. So once I'd done that one, I thought, well, I'll check the inlet valve, which seemed fine. But no, that was leaking as well. So I did the same with the inlet valve. I put a little dowel in, and I just tapped it in to sort of make it round again, so the seat was round, and then I relapped it in, and that seals perfectly as well. And then I had to do the other two, which I thought was okay. So I lapped in the whole valves. It must have taken me about a day with metal polish. I didn't use grinding paste, I just used the metal polish. So you can imagine I didn't have any grinding paste, but it took me ages to lap each valve into the seats. So once I did that, you had to put them all back together again, which is not an easy job. But anyway, I put all the valves back in again. They've been in and out a few times. And then as soon as I put it together, I had that nice feel of compression. So, I mean, you can hear that pop. It's never had a pop on both cylinders. It feels beautiful. So I don't know whether there was a problem with the valve seats and they've gone oval, or when they put them in, they're moved or something like that. Because, you know, they look like they'd been lapped in. And so the engine did run, but very poorly. So whether the seat had actually moved, it looks like they're machined once they're in there. But anyway, I've got that in there now, and I'm just waiting for Lucas to get back to me on the belt, because I think this is going to be a fantastic little engine now. I think that was all the problem was a lack of compression. And, you know, one was a lot down to the other one. And I think I used to run this on a caster fuel, because it seemed to go better on the caster fuel. And I know why now, because it was oily and it kind of made it a better seal for the engine, so it ran a lot better. So hopefully this engine will be fixed. So I can't wait to try it, but until I get a belt, I'm stuck. So I've ordered a new cam belt, a new starter belt as well. Then I can put it all back together again, and I can get my Tamiya truck, which, you know, is going to be, I think, really nice with this engine, because this engine feels really good now, really good. So I'm very happy with that. I also, with my refund money, got another box a week or so ago. I don't know if you guys can guess what's in here, but let's have a look. I've actually bought, hang on, let's get this box out of the way. I bought one of these, the NR 200. You know, it looks pretty cool. I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it Ruifeiya? I mean, it's not, it doesn't say Torin anymore. I don't know if they are from Torin. I don't know actually making this engine. Torin got like a bit of a bad name and then decided to change the name. I don't really know, but it's come from Stirlingkit. And the money they refunded me, I went and bought one of these. It's not a bad price. It's not in a wooden box or anything like the others, but you know, I'd sooner have the money go into the engine rather than on a wooden box. So let's just have a look inside of what we've got. Got a few layers of packing. I think you've probably seen Dennis just got one of these. Now, I mean, this kind of looks the business, really. We've got nice big water jets there. Apparently you can turn the carb round, so it's facing down, but I would like to sort of have it sitting up with an air filter sitting out the bonnet of a car. Why oh why they've gone to this brush motor, because I don't think anyone's had any luck with these, so that's going to have to come off, and I'm going to have to put on a brushless motor on there, because my last one, I think you turned the engine over twice and it just stopped and smoked. Whether it's a cost-cutting exercise, I don't know, but I'm sure with the little brushless motors, you know, are comparable with this price. This is like probably a £5 engine, you know, motor, and I don't know why they've gone that way with it. I'm looking at the mount here as well. This starter mount looks like it's moulded steel, not aluminium. That's probably stronger. I would like a bit more adjustment on the belt itself, really, because you know I've been in the UK looking for these MXL belts, and you know you can find one that's close, but it's just the odd tooth out, and it's really frustrating because I could get one tomorrow, whereas you know I'm waiting on Lucas or Stirlingkit, which takes a little while. I mean, Stirlingkit's, you know, to be fair, send this quite quick, but to get belts and things is really difficult and find their part numbers and stuff like that. So here we are. I mean, you could make a lot of adjustment on that, so you could have like a lot of different belts. You know, you could probably pack that away. I've done it before. I've done it on the L200. I had a couple of teeth bigger, so I had to kind of move the motor out. But yeah, we've got kind of, I don't know why, but we've got two like cam covers, I think, just to make it look kind of like a twin cam, which it would be lovely if it was a twin cam. We've got nice engraving on the head, NR 200. That is a little carb off of something else. I don't know. They've not made that carb. That is a generic carb or something or other. You know, lucky enough, it's got a 2-needle setting. So, you know, it looks tiny. When you think what we had on the L400 and the L200, it's like massive carburetors and two of them. You know, I didn't know why you need that. They look nice, you know, they're nice to have a carb, but this is probably a better setup because, you know, it's a generic carb that's come off. It's probably been well tried and tested, got a nice manifold, simple to set up, and I think that's a really step forward in that. You know, we all like twin carbs and that, but you know, the Torin carburetors are not marvellous and they are really awkward to set up, you know. I mean, on my L200, I think kind of a lot of it was down on compression where I'd have to keep messing about with the jets and the idle jets and everything, you know, to get them to work properly. Now, this is nicest. They've got a tooth belt, a tooth pulley up here, a tooth pulley there, one at the bottom. they've got this coming up here, drives the water pump, and the back of the belt runs on a nice plain pulley. I think on the early ones they had the teeth running on a plain pulley, which was not kind of a good thing. It's kind of nicely machined out. Got a number on it, a serial number. It's got a light, and I don't know why they keep up with these still. I mean, I'm sure you could run an alley one on there. They've got a steel kind of light and flywheel there. I think this is a UNF thread on there, like we all got, so you can undo that nut. I think all the engines, most of the engines have a UNF pilot shaft on there, so you can unscrew that, and you should be able to buy any off-the-shelf pilot shaft that should fit on there, like a UNF shaft. And they've got the 3 holes here for a 3-shoe clutch. Now that saves a lot of problems, you know. But I might still lighten this flywheel even more, or make myself an aluminium one, because that will definitely give it a bit more. You know, this is to sort of make it reliable, tick over and stuff like that. But I might go, and I always normally make alloy. But you've got to admit that is a pretty trick looking engine. Now the other thing, which is probably staring you in the face right now, hang on, is this exhaust. Yes, it's sticking out the front. Now, I believe, I mean, I can turn that around. No, I can't. I don't think it's going to match up, is it? If I turn that around, so you can have, no. So I think these were made wrong or something, and they should have come out the back. But, you know, they must have made so many, and they've either made it around the wrong way or something like that, because, you know, why would you have it sticking out the front like that? This is going to be a challenge now to try and sort out, you know, they've got a great engine like this, you know, and they've got the exhaust pointing forward. Now, like I said, whether it was a bit of a cock up at the factory and they made them all the wrong way and decided to bolt them on anyway, I don't know. But I'm probably going to have to try and, you know, do something with that to try and, you know, I'll check if it turns around. I'm trying to think if that goes around there, it might go the other way. I think when I asked Mona, she said, no, it doesn't go the other way. So I would think she would know. So anyway, that's, you know, pros and cons of this engine. It's got a nice little cap on there, like a little breather, which is nice. Still no oil in the head, you know, which would be nice to have to put that bloody grease in all the time. I thought it had a thicker head gasket, but this has got quite a thin gasket on there. It looks very similar to the L400. Now I thought when Dennis showed me his one, he had a really thick gasket in there. So I'm not sure. You know, maybe tying or Stirlingkit, Ruifeiya, whatever they are, changing these engines all the time. I don't know. Now this engine is not supposed to leak any oil. You know, like the L200 is kind of, it really does leak everywhere. It comes out the front seals. I can see there's a better seal on there. It comes out of the where the carburetors go on. We make new gaskets and it still comes out. It comes out of the rocker box cover and it gets all over the belts and, you know, makes a mess. But this engine here is supposed to be oil tight. Now, you know, I mean, I've not run it up yet. I really don't know what I'm going to put it in yet. I haven't got my glow plugs, which I've had to order. So I'm waiting on those. If you ever buy one of these, remember they're short reach plugs. Do not put the OS number 8 4-stroke plug in, because you'll damage the engine. I mean, they don't really tell you this. I think that's a big thing they should tell you, because all the other engines you can run on a long, you know, a long plug, a long reach plug. But on this engine, you must run with either NR number 3s or something like that short reach plug. I mean, the plugs, the price of the plugs are going sky high now. I mean, Stirlingkit wanted £20 each for 2 plugs for the NR plugs. So I've gone along with the ASP ones, which was like about £6 or £7, something like that for now. But I have found plugs, NRs, in the UK for like about £10 each, so I might go down that route. NR number 3 is a fantastic plug. It's a hot plug. and it always seems to sort out your problems, whatever you got. So I suppose a lot of people are saying to me, well, what is that going to go in? Because this is supposed to be a high performance engine. It's 1.2 PS at 18,000 RPM, but Stirlingkit always, and the engine manufacturers are saying that it can rev to like 21,000. But its maximum horsepower, 1.2, at 18,000 RPM is pretty good, because the little L400s and stuff like that, they're only like 0.5 or 0.9 of, PS. So I think it's going to be a good little thing. And plus, like the L200, that's air-cooled. So you've got an air-cooled engine there, and it does run very, very, very hot. But when I did part, I looked at all the bores and that, they all look fine. But this is another kettle of fish. This is probably a very high performance engine. I don't know about the compression on it and stuff like that. I mean, I've not really looked at it that much, but I'm thinking now, what am I going to put this in? Well, I'm kind of thinking sort of another truck. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, if you run something off-road, which, myself, I do a lot of flying, model aeroplanes, model helicopters, and I've always got a few cars with me and motorbikes and stuff like that. So there's not many places where you can run an on-road car. So it's kind of going to be another off-road vehicle, but I'm going to get away from leaf springs if I can, and I want to run like a bit like my Swamp Dog with independent, solid axle, but like oil-filled shocks all around, so it handles better. Or if I can find something with independent suspension, I might go down that route as well. But it's kind of, I've been looking and looking, whereas I sort of manufactured the Swamp Dog with lots of Mad Force Kosho parts, and I've been looking at sort of crawlers, see if I can buy a chassis of a crawler and put like straight diffs in it, because a lot of the diffs and that in the crawlers have got like step down gears and stuff like that in them, very low ratios, and I don't really want that. I kind of want it to be like a performance engine. So that's kind of what I'm thinking now, and I keep looking. There is some chassis kits, but they come with a gearbox, which I don't really need. I just need the wheels and the axles. I'm going to run the trusty Traxxas 2-speed, Revo gearbox. They are like bulletproof, and they work good at low speeds, high speeds. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. So it's going to be, my heater's on again. It's going to be at least kind of like a tenth or bigger. I know a lot of the crawlers, they come out a little bit bigger than a temp scale. But again, they run the servo right up the front, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Or the other route is to sort of make something myself, from kind of, I've got alley rails and bits and bobs that I may be able to make something myself, and just buy the diffs and make the chassis up to suit this engine. But I kind of don't want another crawler. I've got a 6-wheel crawler that is like fantastic, which I've just got up and commissioned again, and that's running fantastic. I don't know, I don't really want another crawler, and I don't want a leaf spring truck, because they don't handle my Tamiya L200 power truck is like got a habit of rolling over all the time, and it tends to bend the leaf springs. So I'm kind of looking for either some banding wire, something like that, to make up my own springs and try and make them a little bit stronger. What you got to imagine is the Tamiya was only made for electric motor, and I'm running on the L400, which is a lot heavier on the front end. But it's such a nice truck and very, very scale, that I'm going to, I think that L200, which I've just got the compression back up on, is going to be really good in it. So this is going to be in something, it's got to be performance orientated. Obviously it would be good on road car, but I have got a place I can go, but if you've got something off-road, you can run it on-road and off-road. If you've got something on-road, all you can do is run it on-road because it's low, you know, and it won't run off-road. So kind of looking for something in between that. Now, I've got a few other bits with this, which I'm not sure I really like. I mean, when I saw the engine, the man said to me, "Oh, you want to buy the radiator kit and stuff like that?" You know, and I said, "Well, yeah, I might as well." But I mean, look at the size of this radiator. Whoa! Now that is in your face. Obviously, it's a computer ban. You know, I imagine it's quite efficient. But I mean, you know, it just looks too big for that, really. I mean, I don't know if you can see in the front here of my Swamp Dog, there's a radiator there. It's a lot smaller, and that is to cool the L400. So I don't know whether to put this one in for the L400 and put the small one on for this. But they're saying that Stirlingkit, that is the radiator for the you know, engine, which I think is like massively overkill. I know you kind of can't have enough cooling, but I just think that is massive. And I mean, imagine, look, that exhaust sticking there. That's a disaster, really. But there you go. I've got that. What I'm going to do with it, I don't know. What else did I get in the box? I didn't get my plugs. Oh, I got their new two-way starter kind of set up. Where are we? Right. So they, you know, I mean, I won't be using that. I use onboard starting from a little relay. We're going, got a few connectors there. I take it these are for the brush motor, which I probably won't be using. And this is the heater for the two plugs. I don't know if these are any better than the other ones. These have got a habit of just falling apart, you know, there's a wire stripping and stuff like that. I don't know why, because I've got a few others on other vehicles on a bike, and they're really robust and strong, and you can just flick them on, take them off by pulling the wire easy. This is a nice compact little unit, but probably I'm going to end up with just this little bit on here with a brushless motor in, so I can unplug that. You know, it's not. It's a shame they've gone with a brush motor. You know, I'll try it. You know, I will try it, but I'm sure it's going to mess up. So that's where we are with that so far. I don't really know what this is. It's kind of looks like a mounting kit for the engine, little brackets in there, but I don't really know what these plugs and things are for. And if anyone can tell me what that little thing is there, because I don't know what that is, some little electrical thing with no instructions to tell you what it is. You know, you can read through the book and it don't really tell you much about it. So if any of you know what that is supposed to do on the engine, it will be quite interesting. So there we have it, guys. From the last two rants videos, I've ended up with a refund to buy this, and I've got a new time forward cylinder, which I kind of don't really know what I'm going to do with it. If any of you guys out there, like I say, has run this engine, the new setup, with the bigger bearing, with the standard head gasket, can you please let me know how it's been running? And any guys out there who have been running this, or the NR, I think Dennis had one little run with it. I was going to put it in the Tamiya, but I think I'll do a new build on this one. Just get back to me and, you know, just let me know what you think. So anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off now. It's good to be back. And hopefully on the next one, I'll either have this in something starting or the start of a build. And if I get any good feedback on the L400, this could go back into my Swamp Dog. And with the old L200, which got mega compression now, I'll get that back in the Tamiya once I get my starter belts, and I'll let you know how that goes. So for now, guys, I think we'll leave it here, and I'll see you in the next one.